Hi everybody, it's Lisa with the Adventure Channel and I'm here at the Longs Peak Trailhead. It is May 2nd, 2026 and I'm going to go up and see what conditions are. We had maybe the biggest storm we've had all season, dropped some snow up there. So I'm excited to see how much snow has fallen and what the conditions are going to be like. So I'm going to head up there. If the conditions are good enough, I'm going to go up the Keyhole route. I'm just by myself today. And if the conditions are not good enough, then I'm not going to. But I'm going to take you along for the ride to see, what we discover. And that's one of the beauties about going up this mountain, is just to come up here and see how things are every month. Well, hello everyone, it's Lisa. And I'm out here in a beautiful spring snowstorm in Rocky Mountain National Park. And I'm contemplating the difference between conditions and forecast. Conditions on the ground and what the forecast says. For instance, I've been climbing Longs Peak every month for over 6 years. I've been doing it since January of 2020 through April of 2026. That's 76 months, right? And it's been difficult because logistically, it's difficult to find a day every month that actually works for an ascent with regard to forecast, conditions on the ground, scheduling, whether or not I'm injured or sick, what my family's got going on, things like that. Work is a big one. And so I'm sitting here enjoying this beautiful snowfall, just loving it out here, thinking, I might not get May of 2026. I tried to go up on May 2nd, 2026, which was last week, and the forecast was stellar. Blue skies, no wind, no precipitation. And I knew that because I watched the forecast like a hawk. But what I also knew was the conditions on the ground play a huge factor in whether or not an ascent is reasonable or safe. So I knew it was probably not a day that I would summit Longs Peak, but I wanted to go up there and check out conditions anyway. So I went up on that day and had the perfect forecast. The forecast came true. It was blue sky. It was relatively warm, no wind. It was just a gorgeous day. There was only one other party out there that day, and they started right before me. It was a party of 4, and they went up to the Keyhole. I ended up passing them. They started about a half an hour ahead of me, and then I ended up passing them. And then I put on my snowshoes and broke trail across the boulder field and up to the Keyhole. And then they joined me there. And I put my crampons on and my helmet and got up my ice axe, and I started to go across the ledges. But what I found was, because of the way 2026 has gone, we had a very, very mild winter until these spring storms here in late April and early May. And so that made conditions on the ground dry rock in a lot of places. And so there wasn't very much snow previous to these 2 snowstorms on the ledges. And so when that first snowstorm fell, when all that snow fell, it fell on a lot of dry rock. And what I found on the ledges was 4 feet up to my waist, I don't know, is that 4 feet, of fresh powder with no base, and I was punching through down to rock, and I couldn't tell if it was a ledge, a slab, or a broken section. And so my footing was really unstable. I'd take a step, and I wouldn't know what I was going to hit. And when you're traversing the ledges, going up the trough, traversing the narrows especially, and then going up the home stretch, if you can't tell what you're placing your feet on, it becomes much more difficult and wildly unsafe, to be honest. So I turned around because I didn't like the conditions. I didn't think it was safe. I was seeing sloughs coming off, like point release sloughs coming off in the trough, and I knew that the conditions were not good. So one of the reasons why I'm questioning whether or not I'm going to get an ascent in May of 2026 is because we had those dry conditions. Right before that snowstorm, the boulder field was mostly dry. And then I had to, after the snowstorm, I had to use snowshoes across the boulder field, which means that's a lot of snow that fell. And so we had dry conditions, no base of snow that's been compacted, consolidating all winter. Fresh snowfall fell, about 2.5 feet fell, and then we had that one nice day and maybe a reasonably nice but overcast day the following day, and now this snowstorm's coming, and this snowstorm is forecast to dump up to 4 feet on Longs Peak. So what you'll have is no base, fresh snowfall that hasn't had time to consolidate, and then this bigger snowfall that also will be pushing down on the first snowpack and won't won't allow consolidation. And what we need is a couple weeks of nice warm temperatures to make all of that percolate down and consolidate. But I don't know that we're going to have it looking at the long-term forecast. So I'm not going to do anything dangerous. I'm not going to go up and risk my life to go up longs. So this could be the month that breaks my streak. And if it does, so be it. I've had a great run. I've loved it. And it doesn't mean I won't try to go up, for subsequent months. But yeah, anyway, I really, really love that project. And if I can get May safely, I'll try. But if I can't, I just wanted to explain to you why I make the decisions I make in the backcountry. I try to be as safety conscious as possible, and I assess the conditions in real time every day. And also with regard to the forecast, I watch the forecast every day, and so therefore I know what happened 2 weeks ago. I know what the wind patterns were last week. I know what the wind loading should be. And then when I'm on the mountain, I'm up there looking at it and saying, yes, this wind loading is unsafe. So that's the way I look at it. And I was just thinking about it here as I was snowshoeing along this beautiful winter wonderland trail. So I just wanted to let you know. In fact, maybe I'll include some footage of that failed attempt. I call it my spectacular failure on Longs Peak because I really loved the day, actually. It was really great. Then the 4 people who came up behind me, they were ahead of me and I passed them, and then they came up behind me. They only had microspikes and they weren't prepared. They didn't have ice axes and they knew it, and they got to the keyhole, enjoyed the view, took some pictures, and they turned around as well. They were smart as well. So yeah, the conditions just were very obvious to everyone that this wasn't safe. It is really nice out. I had to take my jacket off. No wind, just feeling the love of this early morning start. I think I started from the trailhead about 3 o'clock in the morning, and now I'm headed up the trail. I did put my microspikes on just because there were people up here yesterday stomping through the fresh snow, so it packed it down into ice. So I'm actually glad I have them on, even though there's been some sections of intermittent dry trail. But I'm actually really enjoying them on the icy packed snow trail. So yeah. A lot of times I like to bring 2 pairs of boots to make it a lot easier on the lower section of the trail rather than tromping down dry trail or hard packed trail in my big heavy mountaineering boots. It's kind of nice to have a different pair to wear on the lower trail. So that's why I do that. Crossing this bridge that I call Lightning Bridge. Crosses the creek. Here's a sign why I call it Lightning Bridge. Lightning hazard. Just continuing on up the nicely packed trail in my microspikes and my lighter boots. And loving life right now. When I'm moving, it's pretty warm, but when I stop, it feels kind of cold, so I gotta keep moving. I have lots of layers in my backpack though, so if I needed to put more on, no big deal. I like to come up here prepared for whatever conditions I might find. And you never know in May. May's anybody's guess what happens in May. Sometimes it can be really difficult to be up here, and sometimes it can be relatively mild. So yeah, again, I've been obsessing over the forecast, watching the precipitation totals that came in during the last week and a half, to see how much snow had fallen up here, and what the wind was doing, how the wind was loading the snow that did fall. So yeah, I decided to come up today, as I said earlier, just to check it out, see if I can have a pretty reasonably safe ascent of the keyhole route and go from there. If I don't like the conditions, I'll just turn around. No big deal. I got the whole rest of the month of May. This is only the 2nd. So if I really want to get up here this month, I've got a lot of days to work with. But I did want to get up here today and just check it out. So yeah. Dawn is coming. So beautiful. So I brought my snowshoes today because I did not anticipate that some people would be up here yesterday packing down this boot pack. But they were. So I could put my snowshoes on, but I'm doing fine without them, so I'm not going to for now. But I would like to give a shout out to whoever broke this trail, because usually I'm the one who has to break it. So it's pretty nice to have somebody else break it and just kind of cruise along it. So thank you to whoever you are and whatever destination you had. It's pretty nice. See that ptarmigan? He's trying to get away. Hey, buddy. Don't you want to be on the video? Scare you, but that was cool. Look at that magnificent mountain. So beautiful. Well, I finally decided it's more work not to have the snowshoes on than to have them on. So I'm taking the microspikes off and putting the snowshoes on. Plus I get to sit and bask in the sun while I do it. That's a nice bonus. I'm coming up to the boulderfield campsites. There are 4 people here. They were using the steps that the person or people broke yesterday as well. You can see the bathrooms right there. The hitch rack right there somewhere. I can't really see, but hi guys, how's it going? Awesome. What a day, huh? So beautiful. Yeah, you having fun? Excellent. It's so pristine with this fresh snow. So nobody's been past the boulder field. So now I'm breaking trail because that group didn't have snowshoes. I'm glad I brought my snowshoes. They're really helpful. Almost to the keyhole. Well, I went a third of the way across the ledges, and the snow just was not, I don't think it was safe. I think it wasn't supportive enough. It wasn't consolidated enough. I think it could definitely avalanche. I saw some slough avalanches there in the trough, and even if I made it across the ledges, I just don't see how when the sun hits the narrows that it's going to be safe to cross it. So I turned around, come back another day. We'll see if I get May. This was my May attempt, but I've got the rest of the month, but I've got a lot going on and I'll be traveling, so we'll see if I can get it. If not, that's okay. But it's not safe today, so I'm not going to do it. All right. Thanks for watching this channel. Thanks for liking, subscribing, commenting, all those good things. It's just wonderful. I love it all. We'll see you next time on Lisa's Adventure Channel. Bye.